Well, where to begin? Talking about the insanity of the world. And, I've been studying this stuff for over 25 years, even though I've only written a few books in that time and stopped doing lectures and talks 10 years ago. I had my hands in a lot of subject matter, be it the ancient Egyptians, be it alchemy, be it Zen, be it native Indian medicine, be it Chinese medicine, be it various religious traditions around the world, Eastern and Western. I read some of the original books when they came out by guys like David Icke and Bill Cooper, and I knew the insanity was going to ramp up in the human world, the human created environment. It was going to, but the speed at which we've gone from like 5 to 7 in the insanity level here in the last few months is really a bit shocking. And it's going to get worse. And I'm going to tell you two things that have they're small little events that I saw recently, but they're things that just indicate where we are in the insane level. The first one of these, I was out driving around. Thankfully, I still live in a country where the government has been relatively sane during this whole period of time. So you can still actually have a semi-normal existence here. There's, no face masks, no, there's not much that's really indicating things are different. Small things, but not a lot. Anyway, it was a roadside fruit stand, which, is usually run as it always is. It was like two girls, maybe 12, 14 years old, I don't know, sitting behind a desk, and they had all the fruit on it, as you would expect to see. There's nobody there because, of course, they probably get 10 customers, 15 customers total in the whole day. But what else is on the table? A giant sheet of plexiglass halfway on the table to somehow protect them from whatever's going to be on the other side of the table when a customer shows up. And first of all, the sheet of plexiglass would only go to such a height, not even the height of if I was standing there, I would be above the height of the plexiglass to start with. And it's to protect two 14-year-old girls who, let's face it, even if this thing really exists, they're going to get a flu. They're going to be in bed coughing for a night at the worst. And they need to sit all day behind a sheet of plexiglass, constantly having that reminder in front of their face to be afraid. It was, and for nobody. There might be one customer the whole day. It was, so that blew my mind. And then maybe that night, the same night, this was a few days ago, I happened to be flipping channels through the North American sports that have started, and it was an Oakland A's baseball game, and they moved the camera up to the public address announcer, who is still reading the public address things which is supposed to be for the spectators, but there are no spectators, so I don't even know why they have a public address announcer, but okay. And she's sitting there, and she's wearing a mask, and she's in a room way at the top of an absolutely empty stadium, alone. She's in that booth alone in a stadium of nobody, and I can't imagine anyone would even possibly come in there for the course of the game, even to hand her a piece of paper in the course of the day. And again, it's one of those things, you look at it and it's so insane that you can't actually have any logical grasp of what you're seeing. And that's where we are. We are actually at a point where everything that's going on, zero logic applies to everything. Everything that's happened for the last 3 months, the logic involved in it is zero. And that's a big part of what's going on. Because, again, if everything is targeting the human subconscious, everything is targeting way below the conscious level, because the conscious level I would assume, even of the zombies that are not thinking at some level consciously, once in a while they're gonna wonder and go, boy, it all seems a bit overboard. Boy, it all seems a bit strange. Boy, it all seems like just overkill for what we really have. But the subconscious is getting the messages that are surrounding them constantly, which of course, fear is the number one message being put out. Compliance, do what we tell you. And 3, of course, don't think. Don't question, don't think. And when you see what's not being allowed to be said, because if you're in authority and you know you can win an argument, you know you can win a debate, and you're in charge, you let the debate happen. You would turn it on at 8 o'clock on national news, because on all of your television channels, because you know you're going to win. You are let the others debate and look stupid. When all debate is extinguished, it means the people in authority can't win that debate, and the only way they can keep their side of the story going is to squash everything of the opposition. That's what you're seeing. It's and like I said, we're just beginning the insanity. The next, particularly if you live in the northern hemisphere, I mean, Australia right now is going into crazed land right now, and the rest of the world's going to follow once cold season starts again, and as usual, people start, getting the flu. It's all going to start again. It's all going to start again. And you'd better start planning now. Like, if you think you're just going to wait and see how everything goes, and you'll make some decisions in December or January, it's too late. I'm telling you right now, it's too late. You have to, and again, I'm not saying, back to the last video, right? There's nothing to worry about. I'm also partially, at times, I just sit back and watch the show, because I know that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing, of course, I've always known I'm seeing a show. I've always known I'm in a movie. I'm in a dream, but now I'm watching a show within a show. I'm watching, the movie itself is creating a second movie inside of itself right now. That's completely bizarre and insane, but it's like a car wreck when you drive by it. You have to stop and look at it, right? It's just your own morbid curiosity. I've got this morbid curiosity to see just what the hell's going to come next. Is my expectations that I've had over the last 25 years and now over the last few months of how I think the next few months and few years are going to look like, is that exactly the way it's going to look like, or am I going to get surprised along the way that something's going to get even more crazy than I couldn't even think of, or it's going to be less crazy? So I'm partially morbid curiosity. So I have a lot of just sitting quietly and wondering what I'm going to see next. But on the other hand, when I step into physical me, when I step into a bit more into the eye structure, then you also have to be prepared for what's coming. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And you'd better be preparing now. You better have a plan. You better get a good idea of what's going to come, so you can start already having a plan. I was a hockey coach for a lot of years, and that's a big part of it. You have to be planned for everything that could happen in the course of the game, everything your opponent might do. Your opponent might do 5 or 6 different things, 5 or 6 different strategies, and if you try to wait until they show up and try to make your decision then, it's too late. You've got to have made your decision before the game starts and know, if they're going to play this kind of forecheck, this is what we're going to do. If they're going to play like this in their own end, this is what they're going to do. If they're going to have this kind of power play, this is what we're going to do. And as soon as you start seeing how they're playing you that game and how things are, you can make it. You have your response ready. You don't have to think about it. It just goes into play. They're doing A, so we're doing B. Simple as that. And that's kind of what you have to be at now. You have to have various preparation things in place. As each level of insanity goes to the next level, you have to make your decisions on what does that mean for you, and how are you going to, I don't want to say respond, because I don't want to make it sound like you have to be active against something. That's not the word I'm looking. How are you going to just what actions are you going to choose for yourself? Because I can't tell you what to do. No one else can tell you what to do. You're living your own experience here in this reality, so you have to make your own choices based on your own research, your own knowledge, your own understanding of things. But you don't want to be making those decisions when it's happening if you can avoid it. You'd like to have, if A happens, I know I'm going to do B. If C happens, I'm going to do D. If E happens, I'm going to do F. If H happens, I'm going to do M. If, you have some guidelines of where you want to go, and because it's happened so quick, it's gone so fast, and it's gone so fast because the average human has just not tried to stop it. They've just, whatever they've been told, they've just been a good zombie and nodded their heads and just done it. And so, like any tyrant authority figure, if they tell you to do something and you just do it, you don't even question why you're doing it, well, they'll just keep giving you more and more and more and more because they know, you'll do that too. And that's what's occurred, because everybody is just done what they've been told without any kind of actual thinking about why they're doing it and looking into it and trying to actually make a really good decision on what's useful or not useful, valid or not valid. And so that means the snowball will just keep rolling. And I don't see, I talked about that in one of my spiritual warfare videos, don't try to wake up the masses, because that's not what this video is at all. It's directed for my 300 or 400 people who will actually see this video. So the snowball is going to keep going. Probably. 95% likelihood in this reality, the snowball will continue. Snowball of insanity will continue. So what are you going to have planned? Well, I guess that's all I want to say right now. I'm not really sure how much useful there was in this 10 minutes, but I felt like I wanted to do it anyway. I'm off to do some blueberry picking right now. It's a spectacular blueberry year out here, and I've been picking berries for the last few weeks. They make great jams and juices for the winter when you need the extra vitamin C and the extra value that fruits can bring. So in a sense, that's part of my preparation, part of my planning is, okay, the nature is giving this year a very bountiful harvest, is being very good to us. So I, as a human, want to be thankful for what's being presented. It's amazing. I go into areas that are very close to where people live sometimes. No one has picked one berry. They just go to the grocery store and they get some container from 10 countries away, when they could just take 20 minutes and go out in their own forest and get actually fresh, as strengthening a food as you can get. But nobody wants to spend the 20 minutes and actually put a little bit of time and effort into obtaining something incredibly healthy for them. But I see the gift that nature's giving right now, and I want to make sure I acknowledge that. Part of it is not only my own preparation, but part of it is acknowledging the gift that nature is providing. That's just part of how I live and how I intend to keep living, of course, and but it's also part of the planning process. So I'm off to get some berries, and we'll catch up with you later in the week.